Yo, it's your boy, Mr. Box Office, the main event, the professor of truth and entertainment, the ratings killer. And if you don't know, you need to get to know. And welcome to Box Office City with Mr. Box Office himself, the main event, Mr. Box Office TV. And I'm back. I'm back on a very special day. Not just because the transfer window's just open, not just because the Euros has started and it's back to type for Scotland, back to that same old feeling again, Scotland, losing again. And not just because the Premier League fixtures are going to be coming in soon and that's it. It's not just because of that. It's because of one thing and that's it. It comes on the feeling of like this. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to me. Let's celebrate you now. Oh, let's celebrate now. Let's celebrate this now. Yeah, so it's a special day. It's my birthday. Well, last parts of the birthday anyway. Let's just say that and that's it. Bit waffling there a little bit in that song, I've got to be honest. But that's what's all called entertainment. That's all they call it and that's it. So I've been relaxing. My day and just watching the waffle that I've had to watch. Well, not really watching anyway. I've just been really just keeping myself quiet and just hearing what I'm hearing. And that's it. And it's amazing what you hear. It's like you're told that you're moaning. You're told that you need to be patient. You're told that you need to do this. You need to do that. You need to do this. And I still think there, and I'm just my ears are just ringing in my ears, and I'm sitting there. I'm just sitting there thinking, have I heard this before? Have I heard this before? I've heard this before all the time. I've heard this before that, the transfer window's not open. Why are we getting so excited for? Why are we getting so rattled for? Okay, I've heard that before. Why are we getting so worried about? Because we've got Ange Postecoglou, our best manager ever. Everyone loves Postecoglou all of a sudden. Heard it before. And it's just like, I see signings like Timo Werner, which I'm going to try and mark myself. Whenever I say there's no Timo Werner, I'm going to put 5p in the jar because I don't need to speak about it anymore because he's injured. So I think he's even more relevant as well, to be honest with you. But Timo Werner's the best player since going. He's going on fire this season. Fire. Really? Fire? I have more fire watching the fireplace that I'm just near right now, to be honest with you. But I don't really get the whole fire thing. I've got to be honest. But yeah, I'm confused. I'm very, very confused about that. Yeah, and also making the fact that he looks like a better player. I'm confused about that as well. Heard it before. I heard it with Winks. I heard it with Dele Alli. I've heard it with loads of other players. Please get back those players, please, because we're doing it with these players now that I don't think they were actually better than the players that we had before, to be honest with you. Yeah, I know that Werner's won a Champions League. That was with Chelsea. And look at their ambition, by the way, compared to Tottenham. But anyway, that's another story. So for me, it's nothing's changed. Nothing's really changed in that sense. And with the opening of the transfer window, and the dawning of a new era of Tottenham Hotspur, which is the title of what I've of the show today. What can we really expect? Are we going to expect disappointment? Are we going to expect more realism? Or are we just expecting not that much? And that's it. And that would be the theme of this episode today, and that's it. So keep yourself strapped in. It's going to be a more calmer show because I've had a bit of a long one today. Well, a very relaxing one today. not having that much football in my mind, and that's it. And I really want to get into one of the crucial things of, I think, in the transfer window for me, the strikers. I think Tottenham Hotspur are making a big mistake. They're making massive hash out of something that really is quite simple. I think we know really what we really need. We need strikers that have got arrogance and have got confidence and swag. And at the moment, looking at some of the strikers and some of the forwards that we're linked with, I don't see that. We're going for nice players. I hear it from fans. It's saying, I don't really want that personality in my team because they're going to ruin my changing room. Well, sometimes you've got to take that risk to get you over that line. And Tottenham Hotspur in the recent times, I think they put the arrogance sort of players in the wrong sort of changing room when they needed a little bit more of a cohesive team to enhance first before they can put that arrogance and that swag into the team to try and get them to get their confidence up, get their shoulders up. Because those sort of arrogant players get you over that line, but also tell players what they don't want to hear. And that's it. It's like what I've been telling Tottenham fans a lot of the time this season. And now people started claiming that they said it first, which was wrong because Mr. Box Office said it first, because I said it when it was not cool. But then when it's cool, you start talking about it. That's it. That's the point. But obviously that makes no sense to Tottenham fans, and that's it for me. You know, we they're more worried about their standing as a Tottenham fan in the fan base rather than actually talking the truth, because they need to be balanced, be a politician, which is what politicians are doing in July the 4th, when they were trying to vote for who wants to run the country, and that's it. I think a lot of Tottenham fans want to become those sort of prime minister figures in their fan base, and that's it. For me, it's not really a case of that. For me, it's more for me to talk the truth, and that's it. And for me, at the moment, when I'm talking the truth, I think we've got too many nice players in our team, way too much nice players in our team that are happy to just be getting by. And unfortunately, when you get by, you go stale. We found that out with Pochettino, didn't we? When we're really up there, we're up there so far, but fell so low. And look what happened there. We got there so far, very went that. But then we fell off again. Again and again and again and again. We hear it again and again and again. It's like a ringing bell. You just know when it's going to ring. You know, it's going to ring every single time. You know what time it is with Tottenham fans. Tottenham, you absolutely know. But the main thing I need to speak about was, and I've been trying to do the stream once over every single time. I'm looking at the personality of the players that we are looking at the moment. The ones that I was looking at were, for instance, Ivan Toney. He's the main man that everyone's talking about right now. The main man that Brentford, he's only got 1 year on his contract so far. Left on his contract, I mean. And also, he's just came back from a huge ban from the betting fiasco that he had before, and that's it. So he's very much a man in demand. Well, not in demand, but a striker that teams are looking to take into their team, and they could help them to score them goals to get them the achievements, either get into a cup, get into Champions League, and that's it. But there are also some negatives about this guy as well. He's a bit arrogant. Is it going to ruin the vibe in the changing room? Is he going to rub up people the wrong way? And that's it. Well, those are sort of the questions I want to ask right now. Would that be someone that I think would help Tottenham? We'll get into that more in the show today, in the next in the next part, and that's it. Another one I want to talk about, and we're also linked with him now today, Well, and we have been linked with him throughout the season, last season as well, and now beginning of the summer this season as well, for next season as well. Albert Gudmundsson. Albert Gudmundsson from Genoa. Now, he looks like a very good hot prospect. He's one of those players that look like a player that Tottenham Hotspur would like to see if they can grow him, make him grow. You know, he's got the skill, he's got the quality. He's had a good season at Genoa, so-called. And Tottenham Hotspur are very interested in him. And that's another player we're going to look at as well. Another player that Tottenham Hotspur are linked with, have been linked with, is Grassi. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Plays for Stuttgart. Had a very good season last season in the German league, scoring good goals, scoring a brace of goals in the German league. Now, is this a player that Tottenham Hotspur would think, yeah, good player to look at, good player to bring into the team, maybe bring his form into Tottenham Hotspur, add to our strike force, the strike force with Kulusevski, Gudmundsson, Brennan Johnson. We also have Solomon, who's injured, who's due to come back next season. And also we can't forget Timo Werner. I've mentioned his name again. I don't know how many times I'm going to be putting that 5p in the jar when I keep on mentioning that guy's name. I can't believe it. But is Grassi a striker that can enhance Tottenham Hotspur's strike force? We'll find out when we talk about him later in the show. Another one. You tell me. You ask me. What is on your list, Mr. Box Office? What is on your list? Another one that's on your list, on my list. And another one is this. Santiago Gimenez. Santiago Gimenez is playing for Feyenoord. The Mexican as well had some very good seasons with Feyenoord as well, and has looked as another player that Tottenham Hotspur could use up front, who can improve the front three that we've got at the moment. I look at him and I say, yeah, looks good, scores goals, he's mobile maybe as well. He's a bit of a flash sort of name as well because he's in Europe, maybe playing the Dutch league. People say that it's a farmers league as well. So you look at him and think, yeah, worth a try. Some people will look at it and say, well, you can get Vincent Janssen with that one, couldn't you? Remember Vincent Janssen? So we'll look at him again. We'll look at him as well later on in the show as well. And as we go on, another one is people ask. Another one that some people ask Mr. Box Office, what other striker are you thinking about? What other striker are you thinking about? Well, another striker I'm thinking about is a guy that I call the silent one. The guy that came from little time to big time to little time again, and then found his way this season and really caught a lot of people's eye for Bournemouth. I'm only talking about the only one and only Dominic Solanke. Dominic Solanke, who, so you can look at saying that he's had a really good season for Bournemouth. we could say that he's had a satisfactory season for Bournemouth. A season where in January, because he was on good form, ended up having some good big links with big teams. Some of the top 4 were very interested in buying him as well. And still linked with Tottenham and also linked with some of the top teams in the this summer as well. He's really progressed with the new manager from Bournemouth, especially with the system that he plays as well. He's really enhanced his game and it's really helped his game move to another level as well. So is he the answer to Tottenham's woes up front? Is he going to improve our front 3? We'll talk about it in the show. And that's it. So those are some of the options that we've had. Now, I know that there's been added options, and that's it. And also, I'm not going to ignore the fact that we have got strikers like that we've been linked with players like Eze. Now, I've made my feelings quite clear about Eze, and I know there's been a report today from Paul O'Keefe saying that Tottenham Hotspur are making it their major move to go. Well, I can't remember the quote, but now he's looking at he is the main guy that they're looking at the moment. Now I look at it and say, great, but when you look at the fact that we've got looking at him, and we're looking at him as the next level, I don't see that at the moment. I see the quality. I don't see the arrogance. I don't see the swag. I see the quality in the player, and that's it. But is he going to improve our front 3? That's the question. We'll talk about it a little bit in the show today as well, and that's it. And I also will put a spanner in the work, because when you've got Eze that we are really heavily linked with, there's another player that I think Tottenham fans think would be perfect for Daniel Levy. Perfect for the system of looking for players that are looking good for the data, a data player. And he plays in the German league. And we will talk about him later on in the show as well. And that's it. We also will talk about Romero, who was linked to Real Madrid yesterday as well. And a lot of Tottenham fans were very, very worried about him leaving, which is quite funny because I wonder why Spurs fans are really worried about him leaving Tottenham Hotspur for Real Madrid. I really wonder. I think everyone knows why he wants to leave for Real Madrid if he did want to do it. Tottenham Hotspur distanced themselves from leaving from those reports. Well, that's what they always would do. You expect Tottenham Hotspur to do that. They'll definitely do that because it would look really bad if they really wanted to sell him, wouldn't it? Or they didn't quiet the rumours down, and that's it. It's quite interesting that they're quite active to quiet rumours down about certain players leaving. But when it comes to trying to defend your manager, don't hear nothing. Don't hear diddly squat. Quite interesting, isn't it, really? But, that's how it is. Quite interesting that happened anyway. But to move it on further, I want to give my thoughts on this. And I'll say that later on the show today as well. Another one that we're going to talk about is Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher seems to just not go away. It's like close to Christmas past keeps on not going away, or well, it's not Christmas past, it's Christmas future. looking into the future, and it's just a epiphany, and that epiphany just doesn't seem to go away. That's Conor Gallagher. The Conor Gallagher rumours just doesn't seem to go away whatsoever. You're trying to swipe it away and just keeps on throwing back at you. And I'm still skeptical about this. I still call him the below average Henderson. Yes, he works hard, but that should be expected. Yes, he scores goals. He had a very good season last season. But the question I've always said is that, is he going to improve from last season? And that's it. So that's another one I want to talk about in the show today as well. And that's it. So that's all I want to talk about in the, Mr. Box Office TV today. Welcome to everybody. I'm back. And as I said, I gave you a spoiler. It's my birthday. It was my birthday just yesterday, as the time has gone past 12 and got starts. Well, it's 17 minutes after 12 now. And so well into the next age of age now, to 1 year older now. And so that's the spoiler alert. But let's get straight into it and get straight into my thoughts on the strikers that we are looking at, and also the forwards we're looking at as well, because that's important as well, the wingers as well. And that's it. I want to talk about Dominic Solanke first. We'll start in a numerical order. Let's just say that. And the reason why I want to speak about Dominic Solanke is that, now I'm not going to speak about the stats, because the stats can say whatever they want to say. Yeah, he did well last season. My issue at the moment is that, has he got the personality to get him to grow? And that's it. Now, when I look at some of the traits that he has, he's very quiet. It looks like, he's had some difficult times. He had some difficult times at Liverpool, and then he had to go back down a little peg to try and get his way back into it, trying to grow and trying to get back into the top level again. And it seems that now he's found his feet at Bournemouth. It seems that he's started to feel more comfortable. He feels like he's become, he's found his level in that sense, in terms of the system really works for him at Bournemouth. The manager is really rooting for him as well. He's starting to develop as well. And in all that, you can see now that he's becoming more consistent, and that's it. And I think also found his home at Bournemouth as well. So the question is, has he got the personality to cope with a top six club like Tottenham, or so-called top six club like Tottenham? So I looked at my research. I researched this guy, and I looked back at certain coaches that have coached him before. And I looked at a man called Ade Boyfroyd that coached him at the under-21s. And one of his quotes that he said was, now, this is very much impromptu, so you have to bear with me in that a sec. This is something new that I've wanted to plan for quite a while, so just keep with me. Just keep with me. And he says this: we were desperate for him to go somewhere where he got games. This is, I think, when he was struggling to get games at Liverpool. There was a time he was played more for England than his club. We called him between internationals to see he needed an arm round the shoulder, and I was worried because it can be tough and lonely for young players. we knew he was equipped to play at the top, but needed to show grit and retain that inner belief, which he did. Now, he said this as well. He said going to Liverpool was going a backward step because he'd just got into the rhythm of playing regularly on loan to Vitesse, and we knew he was equipped to play at the top, but needed to show grit. No. So we were delighted to see him join Bournemouth. It is what he needed. He's found his home there and shown young players that you can get through difficult situations. He's a good role model. Now, this is something else as well that is that that now his coach says, because he's received some of the best coaching from a guy called Joe Edwards and Aidan Vitesse as well. And he says this as well. Dom was acute and clever enough to play as a number 10 behind Tammy or Calvert-Lewin, but robust and strong enough to make these runs as a number 9, explained Boothroyd. As a character, he didn't get riled. It's rare to see him emotional. He was like a quiet assassin. If you stopped him, you get a couple of words of at most. But once he crossed that white line, he played aggressively. He developed a bit of a selfishness as his career progressed. You can see him thinking, "It's my turn to score goals now." His consistency has improved. He is reliable in holding the ball for his team, and he's scoring goals. And the final most important bit. So it just shows you some of the struggles that he went through at Liverpool, and then he had to struggle on, and he played more in under 21s, but then he seemed to grow. And I think also that silent side of him started to. That was his way of just, to deal with it silently. But when he got onto the pitch, he's shown it with actions, and that's it. Now, I know a lot of young players do go through these sort of things, and it shows quite clearly here that Dominic Solanke went through a very hard spell with Liverpool and not playing a lot, found alone. That was a very difficult time. And when you have those difficult times, that's when you really start to see whether they've got the minerals or the determination and the motivation to get through that bad time, and that's it. And it looks like this guy did do that. And then he found his home at Bournemouth. And luckily, the coaches at Bournemouth kept faith with him. And now you're seeing the player that you saw last season. That's it. And that's what we've seen, and that's it. And it's now really a question now with his, even though, you see that he's a very quiet man, but you see the fire in the belly when he gets on the pitch. It's just really now to see whether next season he can improve on the season that he's just had. And that's it. Like I say, you don't have to be in there with the lads all the time, like with the team, always the center of attention. You can be that silent guy, and those silent guys are always very dangerous sometimes. And that's it. That's why we had different sort of players that we had back in the 90s. We had those sort of players that were silent, but when they're on the pitch, you knew what you were going to get. You could get the best, and that's it. You can see that they'll come alive. They would just come alive, just like that, because that's when they just become that guy that just come alive, and that's it. And that's the best. That's the thing with Dominic Solanke. He's just that seems to be that the way that he is at the moment. He is a silent assassin. Just to believe the pun, yeah, just a silent assassin. But he's one of those guys that he looks like next season will be a very important season to see whether he can improve on what he done last season. And that's it. Has he got the personality to do it? Well, from what I've seen there, he's got through some of the hard times when he wasn't playing very much for Liverpool. And he's been able to get his game together and get to the other end, and that's it. Now it's for him now to move it on another level. Because again, what we said before, if you stand still, you go stale. And that's it. And that's the problem. You go stale. And if you go stale, that's that's how it goes. You go stale. You stand still, and that's it. And that's what happens to certain players, because they don't improve on what they've done before, and that's it. Whether he's got the personality from what I've just read there, probably he has, but there are doubts. It looks like he has got he's had it was a bit of a purple patch, and he got through it and scored goals, and he impressed a lot of suitors, especially in January, because he was linked with a lot of teams, and that's it. But I think there's still the jury's out on him, and that's it for me. For me, at the moment, the jury's still out for me. Not sure he can improve our front three. There are potential there. He has got potential, but still, I need to be proven that this guy is going to do. He's got the talent and the cojones and the character to grow. And I don't know if he's got that. Whether he's going to lose his confidence, whether he needs to someone needs to put an arm around him, and that's where my doubt is about this guy, and that's it for me. So that's my thoughts on Dominic Solanke, and I'll say I've got a doubt on him. So we move on to the second option. And the second option is Santiago Gimenez. Santiago Gimenez, who plays for Feyenoord, Mexican international. Now, he's an interesting character. From afar, you look at him and say, good goal scorer. He's had some good seasons. Interesting. He's also an interesting character, from what I've researched. One of the things that I've done some research on him about was he's very religious. And which is very good. He's also a very, very much a family man as well. Someone that is more focused with his, focus. he's more as a family man, focused on his personal life as well, with his family things as well, and it looks like someone that's very focused. Doesn't want to get too much into the whole camaraderie of the changing room. And sometimes those silent people and focused people are very dangerous because they've got that ultimate goal ahead of them, and that's it. And this is what I'm gathering from what I see there. He's he's got that, he's willing to learn, and he's you can see that he's got the buzz and the itch maybe to also go to the Premier League. Hence why you might have seen him at the Tottenham Hotspurs Stadium last season. And with that, I think there are some worrying traits that you can see with him, especially internationally. I think people say that he has struggled. They can say that he's but he has. But from what I see here, he's got a stable unit behind him in terms of his family, and it looks like someone that wants to go to the next level and go challenge himself as well. And sometimes when you have those sort of players that want to challenge themselves, those players always want to. They always have that way of improving, and that's it. But he's a very interesting character. You all see when you see him and see some of the stats that he has, they are very impressive, especially from last season and the last season before. But I think the question is, can he climatize from the Dutch league to the Premier League? Can he settle in the environment of England and become more, and then that could help him achieve at Tottenham Hotspur? And that's it. Would his personality be connective with some of the players that we've got already? Or would it motivate other players to improve their game and make their game look better? When you see Richarlison at the moment, Richarlison looks like he might be staying. Would a Gimenez coming in say, Richarlison's thinking, well, I'm not letting this guy take my place, so I'm going to have to improve my game, and that's it. So that might just push Richarlison to kick him up the backside a little bit, because he sees Santiago Gimenez focused, very much focused on the goal, and that's it. He wants to impress his first season. Richarlison wants to keep his place because he wants to go back to the Brazil squad, and that's it. So he's sitting there thinking, well, I'm not letting this guy take my place. And Gimenez is thinking, well, I'm here to show what I can do. My first season is my best season. I'm here to announce myself. With the Tottenham fan base, when you start announcing yourself and scoring goals, like you saw with the two rejects from Juventus, Kulusevski and Bentancur, you become a hero. Ange's done it in 5 minutes. So that's a record in itself. But that's it, really. You only need to say, hello, I'm Ange Postecoglou. 10 games later, I'm a hero. So Santiago Gimenez won't take that. It won't take that long for him to become a hero for Tottenham Hotspur if he really announces himself in the first 10 games, and that's it. Tottenham Hotspur fans will announce him as the best thing since sliced bread, and that's it. But this is the point I'm making. I think it's, for me, when you look at Gimenez, and like again, I'm not making fun. I'm not just mentioning what I see in my research, and he deeply is religious, which is great in that sense, and all power to him. But my overriding feeling is that he's a very focused individual, someone that's had to go through a lot to get to where he's got to, and that's it. Someone that looks like someone that wants to take his opportunity and don't want to look back, and that's it. And so he would be an interesting option in that sense. The only question mark you would say is can he acclimatise to England, bringing over his family or whatever his living arrangements is, and trying to acclimatise to the Premier League and acclimatise to the pressures of the Premier League as well. And how is it going to affect his character when he has those barren spells? And that's it. That's the only question mark I have. But he has played in the Champions League, which is a very much a pressure cooker in the Champions League, where you're playing against top players, top individuals, and that's it. And that's what when you start to see the growth and see the character in someone as like a player like that. Can he cope with that sort of thing? Can he cope with the pressures of it? And that's it. One thing I would say, he looks focused on being a top player and doing it for also the fact that he wants to be top of his game for his nation as well. Because obviously, the better he does, it will be better for his nation as well in internationals, and especially in top competition like the World Cup and other competitions as well, international competitions as well. So for me, again, that would be more a maybe with Santiago Gimenez. See how he is. He has got the focus. He looks like he's got the motivation, but will he have the arrogance and swag to take it when he has a bad run of games in terms of not scoring goals and he's really under confidence? Is he going to be able to shrug his shoulder, shrug it off and say, I don't care, I believe in my ability, I'm going to score goals, and it don't matter what anybody says to me, I believe in my ability, and that's it. So that for me is another maybe for Santiago Gimenez. Actually, you know what? After reading what I've said, sometimes you need to give someone a chance. So I'll say, yeah, Tottenham, go for it. I think it's a green. It's a thumbs up for me for Santiago Gimenez. So yeah, I can't believe I've just done this on my stream. Tottenham, I've changed my mind on one player, and that's it. So yeah, Santiago Gimenez, I put a thumbs up for him, and Tottenham Hotspur should go for him in the summer. So let's go on to the next one. As we go on to the next one, which would be, and his name is Grassi. Grassi from Stuttgart, who really kind of had his breakout season last season, so to speak. And again, doing my research on his character, I looked at it and said, what was so good about him last season? And looking at some of the coaches that worked with him, I found this from his last manager, and his name was Urs Fischer. And he's described him as the difference maker. I remember someone saying that in wrestling and said it in a different way. Not put difference, but sort of put rainmaker. But make that what you will, that one. But he says the striker's own coach was equally glowing of his character. And he says this. He is very, very modest, humble, and even-tempered guy. So I don't see any danger of overconfidence there. Still, it's a human that does something to you. I don't see that with him right now. And so he says, and also he says this. Grassi is quoted saying this: I benefit from the team. I'm grateful because it's a pleasure to play here and amazing fans. It's great. It's a great city. We have to stay humble like we are and work hard. So he sounds like a very nice guy. A very nice guy that's humble, that is a team player. And unfortunately, now I need to do more research on the guy, definitely, and try and find more quotes. But he sounds like a guy that we've already got already. We've got too many of them already. We've got your likes of Timo Werner. I'm going to be putting so many 5Ps in the jar. I really will be after mentioning this guy's name so many times. We've already got Richarlison, who used to be arrogant. No more. Definitely no more. We've got Brennan Johnson. Nice guy. You've got Son. Nice guy. You've got Gil. Nice guy. And you've got Solomon. Nice guy. So when you've got all those players that are nice guys, and you're going to add Serhu Grassi, nice guy, you're not really changing anything, are you? And that's it. He's only had one. He's had one good season. This is mainly his breakout season. We have to see what he does next season. And for me, just by reading that, he would definitely not be the right sort of character for us at the moment. You're really judging it on just looking at it like this, thinking that he would be a guy that maybe start well, but when the chips are down and the fans are against you, you've got that ability to say, again, shrug your shoulder and say, I don't care. I'm just going to score. I'm just going to bang it in. I'm going to bang it in this time. I'm going to bang it in this, bang it in that. You know, that's the thing. I don't think he will do that. I don't think he's that sort of guy. I don't think he is that guy that will do it, and that's it. And for me, nah, not for me. I don't think it is for me, if I'm really honest with you. Just by reading that, yeah, I haven't seen the stats. Maybe that might be something that would change people's minds. But I promised myself today that I'm not going to look at the stats today. I'm looking at just the character. Look at a different way now. Not the stats. Let's look at the character. And for me, at the moment, no, definitely not Grassi for me. I don't think so. It just sounds like another nice guy again. Another nice guy that we've got too many of them, especially also in the other team as well. The only players that we've got that is a nice guy that have got arrogance in abundance. And I said it again, it's Romero and Bentancur. Those are the only two players for me that have got arrogance. Arrogance in abundance. That's all they have, and that's it. But other than that, I don't see it. I don't see it whatsoever. So for me, no, definitely not. Not for me. And so moving on to the next option, and there's been another article about this guy. That we've been linked with, I think, since January. I think since middle part of the last part of the season, there was a lot of rumours about this guy. He's from Genoa. He can play all through the front three, I think, as well, this guy. And his name is Albert Gudmundsson. Now, when I did my research about this guy, I tried to find someone that was speaking about him. And there was one person that spoke about him and gave him some very high praise. And his name was Kevin Strootman. Gave him the highest praise. He was one of his teammates. And he says this. It reminds me of Mohamed Salah was at Roma. And he continues. If he keeps improving, he won't stay at Genoa for long. He reminds me of a Mohamed Salah when he was at Roma. In every now and then he disappears, much like Salah. Then he have 4 or 5 chances per match and only score at most 1. They used to say that if Salah was more clinical, he would be playing for Liverpool. And that is exactly what happened. All joking aside, he is a devastating player and also an exemplary professional. So, just by reading that, he still keeps going. So he looks like a player that keeps going. He might miss chances, but he keeps going. He keeps running. He keeps moving. He keeps doing things. So you can't argue he hasn't got the confidence. The only thing that you've got to question him at the moment, can he improve? There's so many things to his game that look like need to be improved. He's got the potential, but can he get to that next level? So going to Tottenham, when you got the likes of the strikers that we've got already that I've just mentioned, you've got a manager in Postecoglou that's not a good coach, like I mentioned before. He's already lost another one of his coaches already, Chris Davis. We're still waiting for another coach to come in. You've only got Mason and Jedinak and the other guy, which I can't remember his name, that's in the coaching staff as well. And we all know what we feel about Mason. Not very good. Spoiler alert. We all know what we feel about Jedinak. Basically, he's understudy. Let's just be honest here. He's Postecoglou's understudy. Let's be honest here. So he ain't nothing special at the moment. So at the moment, you're sitting there thinking, you're bringing in someone that is a bit raw at the moment. You need to rough him up to make him a diamond, make him into a player that is now at that level of Mo Salah at the moment. How are you going to do it? This is the problem, I think, at the moment. As soon as you don't have any confidence in that player, he'll work hard, but Neves works hard for Liverpool. Look how many chances he misses. And that's a Jurgen Klopp in charge. Now you've got Ange Postecoglou with no coaches that have actually got any notes to make players better. And you're bringing this guy in. When you've got not one game a week, you've got 2 games a week. So for me at the moment, I'm looking at that and saying, no, no way. This is the thing. I've seen people saying and jumping up and down about this guy, saying this is the future. With Ange Postecoglou, because Ange Postecoglou's got this great system. He works well in this system. Oh, great and great and great and great and great. And I'm sitting there saying, no. Looking at that, you're having a laugh. Bring your ex assistant for Celtic, because that's the guy that made you relevant. Cool. Then we may be talking something. But with Mason, Jedinak, and that's it. And you're telling me that this guy's going to get any better by looking at that? Nah. The system must work then, because if he works in the system, because now we're in the system era, the systematic era of the Premier League. That's what we are. We're in the systematic era of the Premier League. Really? So for me at the moment, I'm looking at that and I'm saying, no way. Need better coaches. You're better off having a youngster coming through. You're better off having a youngster coming through and just working with them. And that's it for me. He might be a great player. Put him in the Arsenal team. At least you've got coaches. Put him in the Liverpool team. At least you've got coaches. Put him in the Brighton team. At least you've got coaches. Put him with Pochettino. At least he's a good coach. Put him with Pep Guardiola. At least he's got a coach. Tottenham, no. You're having a laugh. You got no chance. He's gonna have to have his own mindset, be a maverick to do that for me, and that's it. So for me, that's a no. Absolute no. He might have the talent, but we need coaches to coach this guy to make him good, and that's it for me. So, but it's been more than an hour, and I need to say hello to a few people before we move on to the final. Well, we've got a couple more to go through, and that's it for me. But big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to everybody. Thank you for watching. And I want to say hello to a few people. And one person I need to say hello to is Slappy Jack. Thank you for your comment. Big up to you, Phil. Big up to you, Matthew Walker. Big up to you, Adam Crew. Big up to you, Mari. Big up to you, Mark Breeze. Big up to you. Big up to you, Johnny Brefnell Green. Big up to you. Big up to you, Paul G. Big up to you. Big up to you, Paul Brown. Big up to you. Big up to you, Scott M. Big up to you, everybody. Big up to you. Big up to you. And if you haven't watched at the beginning, you would have got a spoiler alert. What was a special day for me yesterday. Big up to you, everybody. Though, go and watch the beginning. Big up to you, John Fitzpatrick. Big up to you. Big up to you. Now, I'm going to go on to the next one. And it's a very, very familiar one at that one. And his name, the guy that you look in the club and you look too cool for school. The guy that I would look at and say, I don't know if he's above average or below average. I think he's definitely below average. I think maybe on par average. As Defoe, Jermaine Defoe. He reminds me of a guy, a Dwight York, an Andy Cole, below average. And his name is Ivan Toney. Now, Ivan Toney. Now, the reason why I've taken a shine to maybe having Ivan Toney in my team is quite simple. Have you watched the Wolves of Wall Street? A guy called Jordan Belfort. Story is that Jordan Belfort was a guy that wanted to make a millionaire out of himself. And the only way to make a millionaire, he needed to go into the markets, create his own business, have a bit of a chip off his shoulder. And yeah, he would get his nose. He'll get knocked back. He'll get rejected. And that's it. But he'll pick himself up and say, I don't care. I don't give a monkeys. I don't care if I'm this or that. I don't care whether I get rejected. I don't care if that person says to me no. I'm Jordan Belfort. I'm the guy. I'm the man. I'm the guy that's going to do it. I'm the guy that's going to make the millionaires. I'm the guy that's going to lead this team to the top. And that's it. Well, that's when I look at a guy called Ivan Toney. He might have a balanced spell of scoring goals. But I can sit there and look at him and say, he'll just shrug his shoulder. He'll just put his hair back and say, I'm Ivan Toney. I don't give a damn. I'll score goals. I'll bang it in next week. I'll bang it in the next couple of minutes. I don't care. I don't care if the defenders give me time for. I know what I need to do to score goals. I know how to score my goals, and that's it. Give it to me, and I'll bang it in the next 5 minutes or so. It don't matter because I'll show them. I'll make it known, and that's it. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't need to worry about his confidence. I don't need to worry about his confidence if he's not scoring goals, because I know that he'll still have that arrogance, that swag to keep going, and that's even more of a threat to the opposition than someone that you don't know what you're gonna get next week, and that's it. So this is the thing. That's the difference between the winners and the losers. You know you're gonna get the winner because the winner knows when he's gonna win one day. Because he knows that if he keeps going and keeps that swag and confidence, he'll always get that over that line. Now I look at Ivan Toney, I look at a Defoe, I look at Jordan Belfort. That's what I look at. So when I look at that, I see that character that doesn't care. Even the fans who are against him, he'll sit there and he'll enjoy it. He'll revel in it. It's quite like Mr. Box Office, myself, Mr. Box Office, the main event, the Professor of Truth and Entertainment, the ratings killer. the guy that loves to date and loves to thrill, but also have the heartbreaks, and that's it, like they say every single time, and that's it. You know what I mean? They should do an X-Files on me. You know what I mean? You know, that's what they should do. You know, let's show that Mr. Box Office will do, and that's it. Let's just say that. You know what I mean? You know, he's bad to life, bad to reality. All those ladies that have turned down. But anyway, moving on. Joking aside. But you know, you get what I'm trying to say there. You know what I mean? But my point is that, you know, like I say, I'm sitting there and I'm, you know, I just think at the moment, when you look at the personality of Ivan Toney, he's got that strong personality to get through whatever he wants to get through. He got through the fact that he had a ban for that long. And even though he went through the demons, he still got through it and still believed that he's going to get back onto the pitch. And that's what's happened. He's back onto the pitch for Brentford. And he's still on the books of Brentford and now still a wanted striker. And that's it. Now, there are some negatives about him. Now, for me at the moment, if he wants big wages, that's a no-go. That's an absolute no-go. Because for me, he still needs to prove his worth. So I wouldn't give him big wages. 110%, no way. No way, Jose. I wouldn't even go near him for big wages. No. I'll just say, sorry, not interested. Not interested whatsoever. And if he wants to go West Ham and take that risk, that's up to them. Because unfortunately, this is a big risk, though, because you can get an Ndombele, you can get a Dalman, you can get all those sort of players. You can get those sort of types of players, but you could get a Berbatov. You could get a Teddy Sheringham. So it's the risk that you want to take. Is that risk that could help or hinder Tottenham Hotspur? And for me, I think it's worth that risk because we've got too many nice players in our team. But the deal breaker for me will be his wages. If he wants big wages, forget it. Forget it. Like I said, he needs to earn his keep at Tottenham Hotspur. Now you're not the big fish at Tottenham Hotspur. You're the little fish. Proving your worth at Tottenham Hotspur now. And that's it for me. So that's the only deal breaker I would say about Ivan Toney. Yes, he will ruffle feathers. Yes, he does. But I just want to remind people, Aubameyang ruffled feathers at Arsenal. They still won an FA Cup with him. And they still love him. And don't tell me that Arsenal fans will take that back, because they wouldn't take it back whatsoever. They're all jumping up and down. That kept Arteta in a job. Just so we can just make that clear to Arsenal fans that we're twerking for him to leave. And I know some people still want him to leave. And now Arsenal backroom owners are still backing this guy, saying they're backing this guy, unlike our owners that are backing, wanting to get hotels in a new Tottenham, not a new Tottenham Hotspur, a new Tottenham area, to develop area to make it look like a great area, allegedly, yeah, because we don't want to go into that one. Definitely not. We'll keep it on the football. Unlike Tottenham Hotspur, we'll love to be rather think about other things other than the football. But for me, yeah, I think for me, this is the guy for me. He's got the arrogance. We need more arrogance in our team. He will ruffle from feathers, and I think we need it. And that's it for me. And it's more on this as well, because I did my research on this guy again. And I've got some quotes from him. And some of the quotes I've got is this. In the first place, I didn't watch football for a while, for a month and a bit. I'd only really watch Brentford games, but I would flick it on and now and then listening in the background for chances, the scorelines, and things like that. Before that, I was watching every single Premier League game possible, every League One, League Two game, and on TV. Obviously, coming from these leagues, in a way, I kind of punished myself not watching games. Then I realized that's not helping me in the situation I've done. So watch football, enjoy it, and know when you get back, you've got things to do. Mentally, it was tough, but I think I'm quite strong in the sense I don't let things get to me. So I brushed it aside and continued where I was going. There was a stage where I fell out of loving football a bit, but then football is all that I know really. Playing football from a young age, it's where I used to, what I'm used to. Missing the game for a while and not being around my teammates was tough. I feel like I'm a big personality in the dressing room. I like to make others happy and bring others up and just try and be a fun character around the whole training ground. So it shows a little bit about him as a character having to manage being away from football because of a ban and dealing with those demons, but also still having that confidence in himself to know that he can come. He will come back because it's a game that he loves, football, and still keep that confidence, and also keeping that confidence to keep his confidence to then help his teammates out as well. And that is a guy that's got swag and confidence in abundance. And that's for me sums up why I think he would be an ideal striker for us. He'll be ideal to keep competition for us at the moment. And ideal the fact that he will. You don't need to worry about his confidence if he has a bounce ball in front of the goal, and that's it. So this is quite an easy one for me. The only thing that's a deal breaker, and I have to make it clear, is wages. If he wants big wages, forget it. It's a no-go for me. But if he doesn't want if we can get him down on low wages and then give him the motivation to increase his wages by goals and assists and keeping those goal tallies up, it's a big thumbs up for me. And that's it for me. So Ivan Toney is a 5 thumbs up for me, and that's it. And so those are the strikers that I've done my research on that I think for me are the ones for me that are the strikers that are going to. I've put my thoughts on thinking: are they got the character? Have they got the character? The cojones, the personality to be one of our front three and help to improve our front three for next season. Out of all of them, only two, Gimenez and Ivan Toney, for me, are one of the ones for me that could be the ones for me at the moment. I'm just looking at that. Now, what is your choice? Well, what I've just said. So if it wasn't that clear, but it's one of those shows that I've tried to plan, and I've just need to just go out and say it, and trying to really just say what I really wanted to say, interpret what I wanted to say in regards to this, because this was an interesting sort of thing for me, showing what I really think is important. I think it's also shown with the fact that when you look at the past and you saw, and I really encourage you to watch Stick to Football with Gary Neville, and he had Andy Cole on, and they had the discussion about the chemistry with the front four, the four of them, Teddy Sheringham, Dwight York, and Solskjaer, and like everyone knows, Andy Cole and Teddy Sheringham didn't get on with each other. Dwight York and Andy Cole were one of the best partnerships in the Premier League in that era. They won champions. They went to Champions League. They won the treble, the famous treble with the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Champions League. And the fascinating thing is that they didn't really talk to each other. It was all up here. Andy Cole had the belief in himself, even though he missed a lot of chances. Dwight York the same, had arrogance in abundance, very much a consistent goal scorer. Dwight York as consistent goal scorer. Andy Cole as consistent goal scorer. And it was just really, it's quite interesting to see the fact that this guy was, he was those two, even Sheringham and Andy Cole, even though they were very good together, they didn't get on with each other. They didn't like each other whatsoever. And Dwight York and Andy Cole didn't talk to each other as well. But because of the quality and because of the arrogance, and again, maybe your enemy is your best friend in these situations because they get the best out of you. They don't mind if they don't get on with you. They don't mind saying, well, "What are you doing, mate? You're making me look bad. So step up. Wake up. So, they both were helping each other out, getting the best out of both of them. And so you saw what happened. They achieved what they achieved. And that's it. So it was just very, very interesting. Very interesting, the fact that this guy, the four of them, even though they didn't get on with each other, look at what they achieved. And look at the Manchester United team that achieved. They had some arrogance in that team. It wasn't perfect, but they ended up winning the treble. You can say that about Arsenal when they went a whole season unbeaten. You see that with Jamie Vardy. He had arrogance. He had, in abundance, arrogance. He believed in himself. And even if he missed chances, he still would keep going because he believed in his ability. And that's it. And that's what Tottenham Hotspur need up front. Moving on to segue on to that. I hope everyone's well, and I'd like to know anybody in the comments or in after the show, if you're watching on playback, what is your striker, and what do you think of the summary of the strikers that I've just mentioned just now? What's your overall thoughts on the strikers I mentioned? Do you have any idea whether you have any other ideas about any strikers? I'd love to love you to let me know and put in the comments and in the show, and I'll be interested to read them over after the show. But yeah, getting into the next player that I need to speak about, and I really want to speak about this guy because I think it's very, very important we talk about this guy because everyone's talking about him, and he's not a guy that is going away quietly. He's not going away quietly at all because a lot of Tottenham fans love him because of his personality. They love him because he's looked as a very, very popular player. And he's done very well last part of the season as well. And his name is Eze for Crystal Palace. He's in the England squad. And he's a player that Tottenham Hotspur are very, very interested in. And according to Tier 1 journalist, one of the journalists, Paul O'Keefe, Tottenham Hotspur making him their main target at the moment with the unlimited budget that we've got, allegedly, because that's what has been in the news as well, that we said before as well. Allegedly. Where have you heard this before, Tottenham fans? Where have you heard this before? I love this game. I love this game. I love this. Absolutely love this. So, yeah, Eze. I think for me at the moment, and I think it's just on the theme of what I've said before, I think it's important for me to state this. I think he's a great player. I think he looks a very good player. And he would improve our squad. He would. My question mark is, can he get to that next level? And has he got the minerals to do that? Has he got the arrogance? Has he got the swag to do that? At the moment, I doubt that. I doubt it at the moment. I think people are saying this more because they like him as a character. He's a very nice guy. He's a very bubbly character. I need someone that's more hit it where it hurts. You know what I mean? I want to say someone that is clinical, someone that is just wants to get the job done. I look at Eze, I see that. I see someone that wants to just strike when the iron's hot, take the bull by the horns, and just say, I'm Eze. Yeah. At the moment, I look at Eze and I think, nice. Just nice player. Very nice personality. All right. He's definitely better than what we got. But then again, like I said before, the quality of our squad up front is awful. It's down there. So when you get an Eze, you're thinking, yeah, good. He's not up there, but he's good. Oh, yeah, good. Very good. But you're not up there, mate. You're not up there to get us to that next level. Again, it's about coaching, which is ironic because I think that he could be someone that, you know, he could be someone that could be coached into a top player. But when you look at his age, he needs to be doing it now. So because we're getting him in his prime years. at the moment. So now you need to get to that next level now. When I look at Elise, for instance, though, he's younger. He might be a bit quiet, but he's a silent assassin. You can see that he's still got that know-how. And I see that sort of killer instinct in him. Something I don't see with Elise, Eze, I mean. So this is why I have my head torn on this. Yes, he can play all through different positions in the attacking midfield and also through that front three, and he will definitely improve our team. But for the money that they're asking for, I don't know if Tottenham Hotspur will go for it. But if they're going to go for him, they're going to have to pay big money for him. But I'm not so for him at the moment than like other people at the moment. In saying that, though, Mr. Box Office has been doing his research and been doing his research so much that he's stumbled across a player that Tottenham Hotspur linked with last week during the week, and his name is Chris Fuhrich. I think he's a German international, plays for Stuttgart, a winger. And when you look at Chris Fuhrich, and he looks like a player that is similar to what Eze does. Also, you can also argue maybe do similar to what Elise does. Works hard, contributes a lot. He contributed last season, and I've got the stats, which again, don't quote me on this because I don't do stats, but I'm only just saying this out because everyone wants to listen to it, but I don't think anyone should pay attention to it. I think it's what you see rather than what the stats are saying. Because then we'll talk about trophies with Tottenham Hotspur, and we know how many trophies we've won recent times. 0, if spoiler alert. But yet, in saying that, 8 goals, 7 assists. I don't think that's very good in that sense, I've got to be honest. But I look at this and then you see 20 million. 26 years old. German international. You're sitting there thinking, Eze, Chris Fuhrich. You're looking at it and thinking, Paratici, you got Johan Lang, and you're thinking, value. Chris Fuhrich, Eze. Homegrown though, Eze, English tats. Chris Fuhrich. What do you think Tottenham fans will go for, Tottenham, in the chat? What would you think? Who would you think Tottenham would go for? I know what we would go for. The perfect one. Chris Fuhrich. He looked perfect for Tottenham. Absolutely perfect for Tottenham. You can look at it straight away saying he looks absolutely perfect because he's cheaper. There's less risk on him. If he doesn't work out, we can sell him back to Germany. And that's it. But for me, because we've messed ourselves up with the with the homegrown talent, I think for me we should go for Elise for Eze, because I think Elise is going somewhere else. I think he's so far down the line with some of the other teams. I think Elise wants to be playing in the Champions League or playing for a team that is more ambitious than what Tottenham Hotspur are going to give him, and that's it. But if I had a choice, I would put Elise. I would have Elise. because I think he's got more. If you can get the right players around him, I think he'd look better. But if I'm really honest, I think if out of the two, I think you have to put put at least you have to do it Eze. You have to do it Eze. Absolutely, definitely. Big up to Jacob from United Spurs of America. I do appreciate it that he's actually gave me a raid. I really do appreciate that. I really actually do appreciate that, Jacob. Really do. Thank you for that. You didn't need to do that, but thank you very much for doing that. Thank you for everybody that's turned up for me. Thank you for everybody for joining the show. Please like and subscribe. If you just joined the show, you unfortunately have missed the spoiler at the beginning, a personal thing, a special day for Mr. Box Office. So if you want to watch at the beginning of the show, a little song, a little jingle that I sang at the beginning of the show, you got a little bit of a spoiler alert. What the special day was as well. So big up to everybody in the chat. Like I said, thank you, Jacob. I do really appreciate the raid. You didn't need to do that, mate, but I do really appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. I mean, you're doing really well as well. So really appreciate everybody who's watching today as well. Everybody as well. 200 of you as well. Thank you for everybody coming to the show today as well. But yeah, for me at the moment, I think Eze for me is the guy for me. I think Eze is the man. Yeah, yes, it is my birthday, Lisa. Yes, it is. But watch it at the beginning of the show as well if you want to get a spoiler alert to what really was the beginning, what I said at the beginning anyway. But big up to everybody in the chat. There's a lot of you in the chat now, so I'll just continue, and that's it. Big up to everybody. If you have any questions in the chat as well, put a Q in the Q box, and I'll answer that as well. Star you as well, and that's it. Yeah, we'll continue, and that's it. But yeah, just to say what I was just about to say, it has to be Eze. It has to be Eze. We've got no choice. We've got no choice but to go for Eze for me. There's question marks whether he can improve with this coaching staff we've got at the moment. Yes, 110%. No, I don't think we've got the coaching staff to do it, because, like I said, I think Postecoglou is a fantastic manager. He's a great communicator. Yeah, I think he's proven it. He's got it. He can sell he can sell a bunch. He can sell anything to anybody. He could sell it. He could sell it so easily. He really could. But as a coach, I just do not see it. I honestly do not see it for me. And for me, I think we need a coach to really help some of these players develop. If we're going to get players in that need to improve, and we've got the youngsters as well, I think we need players that are going to be able to. We need coaches to absolutely help them to grow, and that's it for me. And I don't see it at the moment. I don't see the coaches. Mason's definitely not a great coach for me. I don't rate Jadanak, and I don't know about the other guy. I've got to be honest. And if anybody can tell me about the other guy, I think he worked with Mason. Can tell me in the chat. That'd be great. Because I've heard a little bit from Alistair Gold, but I think he rates him a lot. I like Alistair Gold. I really do. I really like. I'm not gonna. He's a great journalist, but sometimes I listen to him. I'm like, what the hell? Don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I've got to be honest. But moving on to I do think Eze for me, rather than this Chris Fuhrich, I don't see the point. I do not see the point of Chris Fuhrich. I've got to be honest. Just because he's 20 million, it makes no sense for me. You need to get quality in. You need to buy it, and I don't think Eze is actually at that level yet for me. I don't think he is. I don't think he's got the mindset. I don't think he is. Interestingly, though, just to subway into something. Just to subway into something. Now, I was speaking to somebody about this. Big up Kuva, by the way, every single time. Big up to him. And big up to Asmat as well, by the way. Big up to him, by the way, every single time. Spurs Kings TV, big up to them every single time. But I've got to be honest, the interesting situation with Grealish. The interesting situation with Grealish. Now, for me, if he's available, Tottenham hit that like anything. Now, the only problem I have at the moment, the only thing, because he needs to get out of Man City. He needs to get out of Man City for me. He's not the sort of player for Pep Guardiola. Pep Guardiola is a fantastic coach. Absolutely fantastic coach. Right? But he's not a coach for Grealish. I'm sorry. Grealish is one of those players that everyone wants to talk about that was back in the 90s. Maverick. Gascoigne, Modric, put together and all in one. All in one. All in one. He don't need someone to teach him how to play football. He don't need a system to tell him what to do. He's a guy that got it up here. He's got the vision already. He's a David Ginola in the making. David Ginola didn't need a manager to tell him what to do because he knew what he was doing like tomorrow. He knew exactly what was going to happen in the game when he started the game. When the game started, he knew what he was going to do. He didn't need his manager to tell him what to do. He knew what he was going to do. But Bell knew exactly what he wanted to do. He knew exactly what to do. So I'm sorry. For me, Jack Grealish, I would take that all day, every single day. Now I know there's opposition against him because I think he has lost his way. I think he wouldn't be the Jack Grealish from the Aston Villa days, definitely. When he was raw. When he just needed someone to just nurture him, just nurturing his talent, nurture it. So he could become that talented individual, that guy that was just talented and just did that and that's it. But, unfortunately, I don't know if it's too late. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's too late, and hopefully we can get him back, and you can get back those years. And that sort of talent could actually help our team with a Maddison, with a Grealish, both missing out on the England team as well. So they've got that axe to grind as well. They're sitting there thinking, well, people are doubting me right now. People are doubting me? Well, I'll show you. You didn't have Ivan Toney. He's got a point to prove. You got Maddison, a point to prove. You got a Grealish, point to prove. Dangerous. Dangerous. What are you hearing from Mr. Bot's office? You're hearing something from Mr. Bot's office on his birthday. On his birthday of all birthdays. Well, it was yesterday, by the way. On the special day. And he's being optimistic and saying something optimistic to the Tottenham fan base. You put a guy that needs to prove himself in Maddison. A guy that needs to prove himself, Grealish. And you put a guy that needs to prove himself, Ivan Toney. Now that looks dangerous, doesn't it, Tottenham fans? Now that looks very, very dangerous, doesn't it? And what do you know? And what do you know? Think about it. Do you agree or disagree, Tottenham fans? Do you agree or disagree, Tottenham fans, on what I've just said? Or do you have another option that you think is the best thing to suggest, and that's it? Because for me at the moment, I think that should be an option. That should be that is that's some great options there. Whether we will do that, I don't think it would happen, because we don't go for that. We look for the cheaper options, and that's it. And we're not really at that side, and that's it for me. But we'll see what happens, and that's it for me. But yeah, there was another thing that I need to speak about, because I had to segue from that section. For me, just to make it clear my points, and that's it on that one. Eze, I think, is a must now for us. I think we have to get Eze in. We have to get Eze in as a striker, as a player, definitely. I think we have got no choice. He's homegrown, and that's it. I know we're linked with the Leeds player, which I've just seen, which I need to have a look at as well. There are other players that we've been linked with as well. Tottenham Hotspur, Conor Gallagher's one of them. Which again, for me, Conor Gallagher, I'm not. If we get Conor Gallagher in, that's our number 6. That's our midfielder for. That's our midfield options for me. I don't see anybody else coming in other than him, and that's it. So the people that saying that we need a number 6, that's your number 6, because I don't see anybody else coming in. I'm being honest with you. He works hard for the team. He can play numerous positions. He's press resistance. He presses hard. So for me, if you get Gallagher in, especially for the money that they are touting him, and that link is not going away, I don't see any other midfielder coming in. I've got to be honest. That's just me. So that's why I don't want Gallagher. I'm not keen on him. I've seen it before. You might as well just get Harry Winks back. You might as well just get Skip. You might as well keep Ollie Skip. I think we could get a Conor Gallagher in our team all day long for the youngsters. The class of '92, I hear class of '92, and that's it. I just need to say something. Big up to Ren in the chat, by the way. Big up to you. I do see. I still see you. I still see you. Big up to you. And hope you're doing well. But yeah, it's just for me at the moment. I just don't see the point, and that's why I'm very underwhelmed with this transfer window. You know, it's not. It's just not. I'm not. I'm very underwhelmed with this transfer window at the moment, and that's why I've lost that feeling. Now, if you put the suggestion that I put in just a minute ago, when you've got Maddison, you've got Ivan Toney and Grealish in your team. Now that can get me a little bit excited. But at the moment, Gallagher, no. Sorry, I'm just not interested. Not interested whatsoever. You will have to prove it to me, and that's it. And he might be a perfect player for past Ange Postecoglou, but that's where I can't. This is where I lose it. This is why I say I can't. I need to be proven right about Ange Postecoglou, but you know my feelings on him. We're not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. But yeah, that's my 2 pieces on Conor Gallagher. I know he was the best player for Chelsea, but again, I asked the question: is he going to do better next season? in a different team, I'm not too sure. I am not too sure, and that's it. So for me, yeah, just not for me, and that's it for me. Moving on to Romero, to segue onto Romero. Well, Romero, oh boy, this is a funny one, Romero. Romero is a funny one. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I still think he could have done much more last season. And I think I blame it on the manager on this one. I've got to be honest. I think I looked at him. I think he has the skill to do more in the team. He can play numbers. If he had a coach to coach him to play more a number 6, I think he could have done that and added a little bit more to his bow. And you now see other teams, top teams, are looking at him massively at the moment. I sit there and say, I think we missed a trick with him last season, not playing him number 6. I really do. And I'll be honest with you, this is not my idea. It was someone from another show that said this. I'm going to say his name out, Adrian. Big up to him. He's the one that said it. And to be honest, I see him, what he's saying. Now, I'm not saying, but I think we could have used him better last season. With Dragusin in defence, with Van der Ven, you could have used him as a number 6 for me. But now it goes on to this now. Because he's made some noises, he's done what he's done. Now Real Madrid are now looking at him. Tottenham fans are worried, and everyone's worried about him leaving. And the fact is Romero going to be interested in going to Real Madrid? Going to the 4 in a row winners or 5 in a row winners of the Champions League? Someone can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. You're damn right he does. You're damn right he does. So either Tottenham Hotspur make it a problem, or they find a solution to it and try and figure out a way of trying to make the most of it, trying to use it to their advantage. So if Real Madrid wants Romero, well, it's quite clear and quite simple. Romero, we asked Real Madrid to pay the money, and that's it. It's quite clear. It's quite clear. Because you need, and then when we get the money, we use that money to get the players we need, to improve the squad, to get players that are going to compete. And that's it. That's what I'm saying. And that's it. It's quite clear. It's quite clear. Because Tottenham Hotspur need players to improve. If we're going to do this, if we're saying that we haven't got the money to invest in the squad, well, there's your money to invest in the squad. You get £100 million for Romero. There you go, a striker. That's it, simple. You get a striker, get number 6, get a couple of defenders, get a couple of wingers. There you go. Simple. That's using your brain and thinking, there you go. It's trying to find a solution. But if you keep him, that's cool. But you need to start winning trophies, because this guy's not going to hang about for just to be in Champions League and just having days out in Champions League. No, he's not. No one's not. No one. And that's it. one thing I need to say, because big up to everybody in the chat, big up to everybody. There's so many of you in the chat. I can't go to every single one of you. You have to put a question in the question box and put a Q beside your question to say that you've got a question for me, just to notify me of your question, and that's it. But big up to the common sense with evolution. You said he's a bad coach, then you say he's a better than Pep. No. What I said is, I said, yeah, he's a bad coach. Yeah, he's a bad coach. But Pep is a very good coach. He's a very good coach, yes. And he's achieved a lot more. Achieved a lot more. He won the treble 2 seasons ago with Man City. He's won major honours with Barcelona, Bayern Munich. He's a top manager coach, and that's it for me. The ultimate. So I'm not playing the game of that saying that he's not the best or not. I just think for me at the moment, I think for me he's head and shoulders above Postecoglou. I think he's a good manager, Postecoglou. I think Postecoglou's proven it. He's done that before. For me, I think he's done really well. But for me, I still need to be proven right on Postecoglou. I'm not there with Postecoglou. I'm not there at all. And that's it. I'm being honest with you. I'm not there with Tim at all. And that's it. And maybe it was a bit strong saying I hated him, but it's because the fan base were getting on my nerves about it. But it's there or there, here and there, and that's it. I'm just not there with him. And that's it. And to be honest, it's not his fault. It's not his fault I don't like the guy. It's not his fault at all. It's the fact that I've gone through so many years with different managers that I'm oblivious to it now, and that's it for me. But for me, he's a very good cut. He's a very good. He's a good cut. He's a good manager. You can see that he's got good manager skills. He can get anybody in the room to believe in what he believes in. You can see it. He's got good communication about him, and that's it. But whether that's going to be enough to get us to where we want to get to, I don't know. One thing I will give it to him, at least I know what his expectations are for Tottenham. He wants to win the league. Tell me what my expectations of the board is. Please tell me. But, we don't want to go there because you know what we're going to go in there. You know where we're going with that because you've heard me before about this how many times. So I'm not going to go there again. So, yeah, that's hopefully answered your question, the common sense of evolution. One other question I've got from Ronnie. Big up to you, Ronnie. Do you want Bentancur gone? No, he's growing on me. He is growing on me. Yes, he has struggled because of his injury, but I think he's got arrogance. I think he's got arrogance in abundance. I think he hates losing. You can see that Juventus mentality, 110%. Absolutely. Definitely got that mentality, definitely. He's definitely got the arrogant. He doesn't take it. He doesn't take anything from anybody. He doesn't take anything from anybody whatsoever. Honestly, he doesn't because he's gave it back to Conte. He gives it back to his managers, and he says, "If I'm not happy, I'm not happy." You know what I mean? I want to win. I want to be on that winning side, and that's one thing I will give him credit for. 110%. But he's just grown on me at the moment. He has let me down a lot of the time. I've got to be honest. I did call him a Juventus reject, and I've warmed to him more. I've warmed to him more than Kulusevski. Kulusevski, oh my gosh, he really needs to buck up his ideas because I swear down, I've just, oh my gosh. But I'm kind of losing it with this guy. I really have to be honest. I've got to be honest. But I'm just not there with him. But big up to your question. I mean, He you know, for me, he has grown with me, Bentacore. I've got to be honest. For me, anyway. Big up to everybody in the chat. Big up to you all. Big up to everybody that's watched. Again, big up to big up to Jacob. Big up to Jacob. And please like and subscribe. I really will appreciate it. I will try and do more. I don't want to go on and just say the same thing I said before. I do not. That's the reason why I've not done streaming for a long time. You know what I mean? Because I'm sticking to my opinion. I'm not going to change my opinion. I need to see it. I need to be proven wrong. I need to see it. And you need to understand, I'm not going to change my opinion. But one thing I will not do is keep on saying the same thing on every single stream or saying it on my stream every single time just for the sake of it. I ain't doing it because it's boring. I've seen it before. I've done it how many years and it's boring. It's absolutely boring. So that's why I've not streamed. I've also got a life. Mr. Alex has got a life to enjoy. Because actually, Mr. Box Office wants to enjoy his life, which is why Mr. Box Office is going on tour. Going on tour to the best and the only one and the only best, Jamaica, coming soon. But let's move it on, and that's it. That's something coming soon. A spoiler alert for people that want to know where this tour is going. And that's it. But let's get straight to it. And really, let's get straight to it with the whole thing about the transfer window so far. Because since Mr. Box Office has not been streaming, look what's happened so far. We've had 8 releases, including the likes of Dyer, Sessegnon. You know, Ndombele's left at last. A few youngsters have left the club as well. Perisic has left, sadly. And it's quite interesting because since he got injured, that's when players' form started to fall down. Because he did have an effect, a major effect on the team when he came on as sub, and he was kind of a super sub for Tottenham Hotspur. And that kind of had a big effect on Tottenham Hotspur when Tottenham Hotspur when he got injured. He really did. He really was effective as a substitute for Tottenham Hotspur, Perisic. But unfortunate injury that really affected us majorly, definitely. Tottenham Hotspur still making plans of moving on, trying to get more players in, and that's it. And also the fact that we still haven't got an assistant manager for Postecoglou, and that's it. Now, that's going to be an interesting situation. And an important decision, I think, for next season, who his assistant is, because he will have an effect on what we can do next season. Whether we are going to still be the same, be the same position, I think that's going to be relatively the same, I think, to be honest with you. I know I said that we could just finish 7th, but now looking back at it, I think maybe we will be thereabouts trying to get into top 4 again. Whether that will be good enough for Ange Postecoglou, I don't know. I have to be honest, I don't know. And I think that's where we have to leave it there. Because with the fact that now we're into Euros now, and now everyone's thinking about the countries going on to try and win the Euros competition. Hopefully Southgate goes on and wins that competition and gets England to glory. We've still got question marks on what's going to happen, and I think the fixture list will also have a big indication what Tottenham Hotspur really need to do to try and achieve something next season and hopefully get a trophy next season. And that will maybe give a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Tottenham Hotspur, and that's it. On the day where a little birdie tells you that it's a special day for Mr. Box Office, it was a special day for Mr. Box Office yesterday, and it goes like this. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to me. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. A big birthday for Mr. Box Office yesterday. A very long birthday for Mr. Box Office. Enjoying it with people that people don't need to know about, but some of the people that Alex cares about, and that's it. On a day where Scotland, back in Europe, well, big competition in international competition, but fell again. On the day that Germany show that they are their strongest in the competition and never can be back down from, and that's it. On the day where the transfer window opens and now everyone starts dreaming about what sign we're going to get in as well. And on the day that is a week of drama at Manchester United, where Manchester United thought Ten Hag was going to leave, but it seems to still be here, still at Manchester United, and that's it. And would it give an opening to say there's an option there for Tottenham Hotspur to get back into, still have a good opportunity to get into top four with the frailties that Manchester United have, and with all the question marks are there, and that's it. With the question marks of Chelsea, with the question marks of Newcastle as well, with the buying opportunities, and that's it. Are we gonna? Is there opportunity for Tottenham Hotspur to try and get into the top four or win a trophy? And that's it. Maybe that will also bring back the fan base as well, bring the fan base together, and that's it. And as always, because as I say to everybody, thank you for everybody watching the show today. I also will give a big thanks to Jacob for the redirect as well. I really do appreciate it as well. Big up to him as well. Big up to everybody, and have a great weekend. Enjoy the days with the loved ones, and also we'll give a thing like this: never ever give up on whatever you want to do, and that's it. There'll be people there telling you that you can't do things. They'll tell you that you're not good enough. But if you keep believing in yourself, you'll always achieve what you want to achieve. I had a situation where I saw someone stuck in a lift this week, and it just reminded me that life is the most important and precious thing in the world. Forget football. It's just really that you got to make the most out of your life, and that's it. Because you don't know what's going to happen, and that's it. You never know, and that's it. You got to take that opportunity. You've got to go out there and make the most of it. And regardless whatever happens, you can control what you can do. I can't control what Tottenham Hotspur can do. I've known that for years now. That's why Mr. Box Office grew and came to Revolution. And that's it. But one thing I will say, you don't know Alex's motivations and dreams and things, and that's it. And that's why it keeps me motivated, because there's always a goal out there. And you have to always try and strive to get those achievements, and that's it. And don't ever let anybody tell you nothing and that's it, that you can't do it and that's it. So that's a little thing to everyone. Keep believing. Because if you don't believe, how are you going to achieve what you want to believe, and that's it. So I'll leave it that with everybody we're going to wrap up the show. And again, thank you to everybody for watching the show today. And as always, as we close, if you didn't know, get to know, support your boy, Mr. Box Office, subscribe and like, and come on, you Spurs. And I'm out.